Okay, everybody, welcome to Grand Prix Legends. You notice it's quiet at the minute. That's because I've got the game paused just because there's a slight issue when transitioning from the menu screens into the game. So I've just left that on pause for a minute whilst I talk about it. So do a quick Grand Prix here. 1967, I think this is based in Monza. You can see the lines along straight down there. Qualified fourth. So you might not find a lot of talking through this because this game requires a lot of concentration. But we'll see what we can do. So it's going to be I think it's a 11 lap race. Let's see if I can even make it to the end without bending this thing. So off we go. Clutch into first, get some revs going. Notice there's no lights, just a man with a green flag because everybody was nuts back then, and off we go. Try not to. So this was an insane game when it came out. I mean, there's been lots of community work to update the graphics, but the physics model has always been quite incredible. The amount of learning you need to do just to get these things around the corner. If you're used to playing racing games, when this came out, it was just so different, and still is. It's very... Whee! Oh! And things like that happen. Yeah. Brilliant. Call that a fail, shall we? Oh, hello! So I'm going to cheat at this point and try a Shift R. Car must be stopped. Okay. That is cheating, but I want to show this game for a minute. I'm going to be well down the field here, but it takes 4 or 5 laps to get the car tyres and steering's bent. Yep, you can bend your steering. But basically you have to hurl this to the corners. You even have to get your foot off the gas or throttle whilst you're changing gear. In the Eagle, which was not a bad car, from what I understand. Lots of power, a little bit heavy, not the best handling, but it wasn't bad. But yeah, if you just glance the barrier and you bend the steering on this, it becomes impossible. Right, you can get this round the corner. Slightly bent at the minute, trying to turn left all the time, so right-handers are slightly more tricky. Good news is, Monza's mostly right-handers, so that helps. Right. Yep, so 19th now, brilliant. And that happens in Grand Prix Legends. You'll be, first lap, sailing away, you think you're doing alright, just keeping it on the track. And somebody will just biff you and... should be 4th gear. And if you look in the bottom left, they're actually tyre temperatures. At the moment they're stone dead cold. And it would take a Herculean effort to try and get some heat into them. And you can steer the throttle a bit and get a bit leery with it. And you can play with the toe in and toe out to try and get some more friction into the tyre to get them warmed up. Of course that affects your top line speed, but... And in Monza you couldn't really... The straights are so long, there's not that many corners, there's not a lot you could do to get heat in the tyres anyway. We'll do another video with track like Watkins Glen or Zandvoort where you'll see a lot more heat getting into the tyres. It takes 2 or 3 laps still, but I'm taking it very gingerly right now just because I know it's bent. I don't think we're making it to the end of this whole race here because it's just going to melt my brain before we get there. Plus we're stone dead last, so I don't think we're going to be setting the world on fire with lap times now, but, well, give it a moment, see what we can do. 1:32.80 is my lap time, look at the top right there, compared to leader Jim Clark at 1:29.535. In other races I managed to get it into 1:29.9, but that was in a race and at the end when the car was lighter and probably got quite a bit of slipstreaming going on. I can see cars ahead of me. Let's see what we can get to. 9 laps to go. So what you're seeing now is the updated version of Grand Prix Legends that's been done by the community. New graphics set, new installer. You just put your disc in, download the free installer, and it sets the whole thing up for you rather than having to install all the mods yourself to bring up to date. It looks fantastic compared to, especially compared to the old original version, which was back in like 98, 99. So when people were using voodoo cards and things like that. So real credit to the people that have worked on that. And it's absolutely supreme. One of the best things I think about Grand Prix Legends, aside from the physics model, which was just incredible, and if you took the time and if you took the effort, you could eventually get there. But one of the best things was the noise. You could download other racing sounds, and we might do that as some sample videos. But this Eagle, I think, sounds pretty good, especially with climbing through 8,000 RPM. Which when I listen to that over and over again. Not many barriers you see on the inside, reflecting when this was the age when men were men and cars were flimsy. I think that's a phrase from the review of the game at the time, actually. It's quite apt. And there are other mods up there for this as well. You can get, I think the 1970s version, there's a 1965 version. There are hundreds of tracks you can get hold of. Some made up, some real. I've downloaded a couple on here. I put Brands Hatch in, but they haven't been updated for their new graphics model, so they look a bit odd. Also, Brands Hatch in these cars are very difficult. I'm not sure why it breaks there. 8 laps to go. I get a slipstream, going in slipstream, and into the braking zone. Well, I've managed to pass them there. The other good news about Grand Prix Legends is, if you want a driving challenge, you'll get it. All you've got to do is find a disc off eBay or Amazon, and everything else you need, you can see here, is free. I think some of the modding sites, some of the community sites, they request donations. It's worth doing that if you're so inclined, because they have spent an awful lot of time over the years keeping this game going, and it's still well worth it. I think trying to find internet games is tricky because it didn't really have the concept of internet gaming back in the day, but if you get some mates around on the network, or do some VPNing, something clever maybe, you'll have a great deal of fun with this. But it's not easy. It's not designed to be get in and just have fun. It is quite intense in terms of just keeping it going. I mean, I've been playing this, I had this originally back in 99, 2000, 2001. And then just moved on with life generally, but getting this back now, it's so evocative. We'll break a bit later. There is one technique to driving it, which is basically arrive at the corner at the right speed and to an extent hurl it in, flick the steering to get the car in, and then steer it with a throttle. You can do that to an extent. But if you look at the bottom left now, there's actually been a small increase in my tyre temperature in the left front. It's a lighter blue. Hurrah! I'm not sliding this as much as I normally would, mostly because of that bent steering that makes it difficult to predict. But you might find that front left through here gets... And here we go, leaving the lighter blue. Getting there. 6 laps to go. Come on. Yeah, we're getting a bit more confident with it now, despite that steering issue. I mean, it's not too bad. It just means you've got to have some steering applied when you brake, and you're using a gamepad, and the steering in this is so sensitive. That makes it quite tricky. But I can actually see a car ahead of me. Oh, white flag, somebody slow ahead. There he is. Brings it to 18th, brilliant. So are we closing on the next car? Next car ahead is Mr. Bonnier. 273 or 206. No, closing slightly. Probably because my superior horsepower wasn't skill or judgment, but that's what we can do. Hey, there's the fun you have with it. You get it nice sliding forward drift, and if you can do that for the whole corner, you giggle like a schoolboy. If you try it in the next corner and you get it wrong. No, and once that happens, that's it. Very difficult to get it back once it really starts. You can get it sliding, but if it goes to a pendulum effect, the back end just wants to come round, and that's it. You are driving that donut. Five laps to go. I think my last lap was a bit quicker, 31:09. Only 2 seconds off the pace. Whoa! Well, that's not gonna buff out, is it? There go my wheels. Quite literally. There go my wheels. Hey, the engine still works. Grr. Grr. Okay, well that was an introduction to Grand Prix Legends. We'll do another one, and hopefully that'll be a little bit more successful than this. Rather than just, yeah, you can look left and right a bit, or right and left, depending on which way you look at it. But, yeah. So anyway, hope that was enjoyable. I know it's a bit of a disaster in the end, but it gives you a flavour of what Grand Prix Legends is like and how difficult it can be. This is pretty much on an easy level anyway. So thanks for watching. Catch you in another one. Cheers. Bye bye.